Yes, people, I hope you are all blessed and well. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my transfer show. I'm calling it the Arsenal Transfer Centre. Let me know what you think of the name. Let me know what you think of the name. I think it's a decent name. But people, apologies for getting this out so late. I'm not going to lie to you lot. I'm doing a lot of training right now. I'm doing some heavy training right now. And I'm training for a very long distance run. And I'm not a long distance runner, so my sleeping patterns have just been all over the place. Tiredness, getting videos out early has been a struggle. The editing, because I just come back tired from the training. But I'm gonna let you know all about that soon. It's going to be very big. It's going to be very big. So make sure you stay locked in to that. But you're not here to hear about my struggles and the pains in my knee and everything like that. What you are actually here for is transfer news. And I do have some key updates for you on that. So before we actually do get into the video, just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Done? Good. Right. Then we can get into the video. So as far as it goes, for transfer updates, let's talk about the tension between Sporting and Victor Gyokeres, because the situation, as we know, as it stands, that Sporting and Victor Gyokeres are basically having a standoff right now. The Sporting director, Federico Varandas, I believe his name is, obviously put out a statement a few days ago saying that there is lies and blackmail coming from the agent of Victor Gyokeres and Gyokeres himself, apparently. Gyokeres then released a post saying he will speak when the time is right. So the situation is, as of right now, Arsenal did put in, apparently we did put in a bid yesterday that was turned down and rejected. Now this comes from Bruno Arande, I believe it is. I think I got that name right from what I can remember. Apparently Arsenal are going in for a second bid and apparently do remain very active and very confident, potentially, if we was to strike a deal with Sporting to get the signing over the line. The reason why I feel like this is a good time to strike as well, because tensions are so high between Sporting and Victor Gyokeres in terms of a transfer. Because when it comes to gentleman's agreement, if you don't keep your agreement, well, this is where we're at now. Victor Gyokeres doesn't even have Sporting CP in his bio on Instagram anymore. And even though social media is a different world, it's a big thing when you take your home football club where you are at out of your bio. So as of right now, apparently Arsenal are preparing a second bid for Victor Gyokeres. And since we're on strikers, we may as well talk about Sesko as well. Now, we know that we've been talking to Sesko for a while now, and the talk is that because we've been talking to Sesko for a while, the haggling problem is that we are trying to agree a fee, and it seems that fee is starting to near 100 million euros that RB Leipzig will be willing to accept, because Sesko is the younger striker. He's 22. He's recently turned 22. So if he is to exceed our expectations, I think RB Leipzig want to make sure that they get the right amount of money for him, because the belief is that he's going to be one of the next big stars, one of the next big strikers. Now, we've been asking for weeks and weeks, who would you want, Victor Gyokeres or Sesko? Mine is still Gyokeres. Well, I'm never going to get into Isak, because even then as well, oh my lord, this post came from, I think it was CFC Goldberg yesterday, that apparently Arsenal have not given hope. We haven't given up hope on Isak, but I'm not even, just don't play with me. There's no point. There's no point, because if we're struggling for Sesko and Gyokeres, don't put out posts saying that we are still remain hopeful that we could sign Isak, because it's impossible. That post did come out yesterday from CFC Goldberg. So that's on three strikers at the moment. We've only been talking about strikers. We do know that it's also Thomas Partey's birthday today. Happy birthday, Thomas Partey. Why haven't you signed a contract yet, sir? Like, why have you not signed a contract yet? That is what we are asking. That's the question on all our lips so far. And it's very simple, because Thomas Partey knows that this is potentially his last big contract. This is his last big contract. He's 32. He is still good enough to start in any team that he ends up in, but at the same time, it is about the age. He has had a past with injuries, so our team's going to want to offer him about 2 years contract on big wages as well, and that's what he's looking for. I think that's what he's looking for. I think he's looking for big wages, because he says he wants to take care of his family. It's about his career, his next steps, and making sure that his future is secured, and that makes sense. And now that he's actually out of contract, with Arsenal, the ball is firmly in Thomas Partey's court as to where he would want to go, because he knows that he's a very sought after player, which is fair, which is absolutely fair on the player side. So on our side, on the Arsenal side, and Arsenal fans as well, I'm going to ask you this question. If Partey continues to take long to actually agree a fee and agree a deal, do we then move him on? That is the question, because this has gone on for weeks now. That apparently we were close to an agreement with his camp, but now it seems like there is still some struggle. And if Partey goes, that means we have to get in another midfielder. We have to get in another midfielder, because if this Zubimendi deal is all but done, basically, and we're bringing him as midfielder, Jorginho's gone out, we would definitely need to bring in another midfielder to cover Thomas Partey's spot if he actually doesn't renew his contract, because he's not been put on the release list yet as an Arsenal released player. So that's on Thomas Partey. Now, Rodrigo. Gabriel spoke to a Brazilian podcast, and he basically said, because obviously he's not on international duty, but obviously he's a Brazilian, he will speak to Rodrigo and this, that, and the other. He's a big fan of Rodrigo, and I think he's one of the people that's been telling Rodrigo about life at Arsenal, because we know a report came out a few weeks ago that obviously Rodrigo is very, very high on Arsenal's list in terms of playing on that left wing. And apparently we've been in contact with his camp a number of times, and also players, high-standing players of the Arsenal squad have been in contact with Rodrigo, telling him about life at the Arsenal. Now, Real Madrid did recently just sign... Who did they just sign? Federico Mastantuono? They just signed Mastantuono for that right wing, the youngster from River Plate. They did just sign him as well for 45 mil. He's going to have that right wing. And that's where Rodrigo was predominantly playing, on the right wing, because Vinny's playing on the left for Real Madrid. We know this. We absolutely know this. So the fact that they signed him as a right wing, and apparently he's going to be in the starting 11 already for next season, what does that do with Rodrigo? Does that minimize his playing time? He was happy on his Instagram post as well recently that he was happy and he was training in the Madrid colours and everything else. So we'll see what happens. But it's a very interesting situation regarding the Rodrigo deal. The fact that Mastantuono was completed today as a signing for Real Madrid. Now, the other player that is on Arsenal's target as a left winger is Nico Williams. Now, what's very interesting about this is that apparently he had conversations with Barcelona today, and then Lamine Yamal posted a picture on his Instagram account of both of them playing together. They are both Spanish. I think that Nico Williams is not coming to Arsenal. He doesn't want to leave Spain. He loves Spain too much, and I feel like as much as Arteta apparently loves this player, and apparently as high as he is on the list, I don't think he's leaving Spain. It's just, if this was going to happen by now, it would have happened by now. If he was so high on the list, it would have happened by now, in my opinion. So I feel like we actually need to forget about Nico Williams, because I think his heart is set to stay in Spain, and he's more likely to go to Barcelona than Arsenal. That is just my humble opinion, but things can change. Lastly, the forgotten man, Fabio Vieira. Who's Vieira? Fabio Vieira. What's going to happen with Fabio Vieira? But I was thinking about him the other day. Now, he's not going to be included in Arsenal's pre-season tour. He's not going to be kept on loan at Porto either. However, he is going to the Club World Cup with Porto, and then he will return to Arsenal. A question: are Arsenal going to see how he does at the Club World Cup? Maybe to drive up his transfer fee if he has a good tournament, potentially, type of thing, because he's not included in the pre-season tour. Porto don't want to re-sign him because they don't want to pay the fee that Arsenal are asking for, which is around 34 million euros, 31 million pounds. So the question is, what's going to happen with Fabio Vieira? Because I'm not sure if his future is going to be at Arsenal, and I'm not sure he wants to go on another loan. Porto don't want to loan him again. So we'll see what happens with Fabio Vieira. And the Club World Cup starts today? Starts tomorrow. I think it starts tomorrow on the 14th. It starts tomorrow. So we'll see how he goes in that Club World Cup and how most teams handle the Club World Cup. But anyway, people, that's all I have for the transfer news today. Again, apologies. It was so late. As I'm saying, my legs are hurting. I need to go ice my legs now. I need to go ice my knees, especially because we are in pain. We are absolutely in serious pain. But we done well today. We're done well. So people, I hope you've had a lovely day. I hope you've enjoyed the warm weather now, because it's going to be warm for the next couple of weeks. I'm talking to my Londoners at the moment. It's going to be warm for the next couple of weeks. But wherever you are, I hope you are all blessed. I hope you are all well. And I'll be back with you tomorrow for another Arsenal Transfer Centre show. Love and guidance, people. If you like the video. Comment down below for your thoughts on all the transfers I've spoken about today in this video. And we'll speak soon. Subscribe to the channel. Love and guidance, people. Peace.